Hey, what's going on, y'all? RJ here with CV Tech, and today I'm going to do a comparison between two straight talk devices that are really close to the same price, and I will get into that here in the comparison. But this comparison here will be between the Huawei Sensa LTE and the ZTE ZFive 2. These phones here are worlds apart, but we're going to just for fun see just how much better the Huawei Sensa is over the ZFive 2 in this comparison. So let's go ahead and get started in with this comparison. Okay, y'all, so here on the left we have the Huawei Sensa LTE. On the right, got the ZTE ZFive 2. Now looking at both of these phones right here, you'll see there's really no comparison. I mean, you got a metal build back here, fingerprint sensor, a 13 megapixel camera versus a 5 megapixel camera. 5 megapixel camera on the front on the Huawei, 2 in the front here on the ZTE, and all that stuff, and a 5.5-inch display versus a 5-inch display. So let's go ahead and get into these phones here. Got the fingerprint sensor back there. Turn this phone here on. We'll set them side by side, and the first thing that we're going to do right now is go into CPU-Z and just show you what we're working with here on both phones. So let's go ahead here and open it up here on the ZTE first. We've got the 1.4 gigahertz quad-core Snapdragon 425. It does have an Adreno 308 GPU. Scrolling over here, got a 5-inch display at 480 by 854 resolution, 197 pixels per inch, 1 gigabyte of RAM, and 8 gigabytes of built-in storage with only around 2.77 out of the box. It shows 3.16 there, but after it downloads everything, about 2.77. So there we go with that phone. Now over here on the Huawei Sensa, we are running the 1.5 gigahertz Snapdragon 615. It's an octa-core processor with an Adreno 405 GPU. Scrolling over here, we have a 5.5-inch display at 1080 by 1920 resolutions, 1080p display with 403 pixels per inch, 2 gigabytes of RAM, and 16 gigabytes of storage with around 8.16 available out of the box. It says 8.55, but after some of the pre-installed stuff, it's around 8.16. So back out of here and out of here. Now let's go in and look at a couple of benchmark tests that I did run. Let's go into Geekbench 4 and we'll pull up the history here and look at the test I ran. I can barely see the ZTE screen at this angle because it's so washed out. Thankfully the camera can see it okay. So it looks like that 611 single core score and 1981 multi-core score on the Huawei Sensa, and 629 actually beating out the Huawei Sensa on single core score, but multi-core score is lower at 1627. So yeah, there we go. Go into N22 benchmark here, and you'll see on the Huawei we got 37,771, and it's hard to see it here, but it's 30,281 here on the ZTE. So as you can see, the screen is pretty bad here and pretty shoddy on the ZTE. So we'll go ahead and clear everything out here, get that out of the way, and we'll clear all here, and we'll get in with this comparison starting now. That was the Huawei. And now this is going to be kind of a painful comparison, y'all. The reason why I say that, and before I get into any more of this comparison, I want to say that the Huawei Sensa is a very good phone. However, it does run the Emotion UI 4.1, which is a very heavy skin, and it really bogs the Huawei down. At times it runs just fine, but at times it can be slow, laggy, and just flat out aggravating. And that's really the only negative side that I can see with a Huawei Sensa. And pretty much this phone over here running only 1 gigabyte of RAM and everything like that, it's just going to be slow. So let's go ahead and get into YouTube. As you see, both of them are really slow. I mean, it's just painfully slow. Just may take a little bit here in this comparison. Go in a calculator. That was about even. Let's go into calendar. That was the ZTE. Let's go into clock. That was a ZTE barely. Let's go into Google Plus. That was actually the ZTE as well, and taking a little bit there on the Huawei. Let's go into camera. That was the ZTE, and we're still waiting there on the Huawei. That's what I'm saying, y'all. The Huawei is just, I don't know. It's just really laggy for some reason or another. It takes its own sweet time. Let's go into IMDb. And it looks like the ZTE once again. Yep, ZTE took it. Let's go back home. Now, the more you open up on the ZTE, the slower it takes to go back home. Let's go into Instagram. And that was the Huawei. Let's go into the Play Store. That was the Huawei. And it looks like it took its own time there on the ZTE. Let's go into settings. That was the ZTE. Let's go into Snapchat. And that was the ZTE. So the ZTE right now is, taking the Huawei. I mean, I'm kind of surprised here on this, but you got a near stock experience here on the ZTE while you have this bogged down heavy EMUI 4.1 here on the Huawei. So I got to figure out now where I was at. Let's go into Twitter. The screens are just night and day though. Oh my goodness, the screens are just wow. The cameras, no comparison. Both of them here are taking their own sweet time here on Twitter, but it looks like it's going to open first here on the ZTE, but it's still taking its own sweet time. But it did pop up first, and it's already loaded up and ready to go while we're still waiting here on the Huawei to get its act together. So let's go on back home here and quit waiting on it. That's just pitiful in my personal opinion. Let's go into Periscope. And that was the ZTE, and we're still waiting on the Huawei. So right now, the Huawei is having issues. Not really sure why. Everything is exactly the same. It did start up first there on the ZTE. It's going to be embarrassing if this ZTE with much worse specs outperforms the Huawei in almost everything. But as you see there, it is loading first there on the Huawei Sensa, and it's probably going to take it on the gameplay because still a better processor. And on this game right here, I have seen that the ZTE even stutters and lags on this game right here, and it's still loading up. This one here has been ready to go. So right now the ZTE is really showing it's struggling very badly. So we're going to just go on back home here, not worry about this. It's just sitting there and pushed home, and as you see, it's just kind of like froze there. So yeah, I mean, I pushed home. It ain't doing. There we go. Is it going to go home today? There we go. Do I even dare go on with this test? Let's go into Subway Surfer. And neither one of these phones are powerhouses. That's just the way it is. I mean, Subway Surfer started up first there on the ZTE, and it looks like that it may actually take it. And I think it's going to take it on this test here at Subway Surfer. Yeah, I think it's going to do it. Is it going to do it? Yep, it took it. This is barely even loaded up. So the ZTE, what now? To the Huawei for beating it in Temple Run. But as you see, it's taking its own sweet time. Now in this game right here, once it ever loads up, like I say, if this one here was a stock experience here on the Huawei, this phone would fly. Let's just run this test. Let's just run this here. And it started up first playing there, and there's a little bit of a lag behind. It does seem to work. Okay, but it's just, I don't know. These phones right now, I don't know what's going on with it. I pushed home, and as you see, it just takes its own sweet time here on the ZTE ZFive 2. to even go back home. It just kind of just has to wait for everything to pop back up and load back up. We'll do one more test here, and I'm sorry this is going to be so long, but like I say, when you got two phones here, one with a 1.5 615 octa-core processor with double the ROM, double the RAM, and you see the ZTE keeping up with it in a lot of tests. You know, I mean, of course the Huawei Sensa is better, you know, with the metal build, much better cameras, much better screen, you know, better it's just a better phone in general. But you know, if I'm not sure if maybe, you know, EMUI 5.0 would be any better. I don't see it updating any because there's no updates on the phone. They're both phones are running 6.0.1 Marshmallow, and so it looks like it's going to take it here on the Huawei here on Crossy Road. And I don't even know if I even ought to do a brand management test by opening apps or not. That may take even longer. I may do a couple just to see what happens, but I won't do every test. As you see that the ZTE is way behind here on this test, so just going to go ahead and go back home here and not even worry about it. You see right here I'm scrolling. It took a minute there to start going, so you know, for some reason it is laggy. Here it's also got some, I mean, I'm scrolling and it's just look how that is. I mean, it's not doing anything at all. It's awful. Okay, it's just not responding. It's going to close everything else, and as you see out yonder, this phone here, I mean, I gotta be honest with you, for basic use on the ZTE, it's not bad. When you get into all of this stuff here, it's just terrible. Let's just do a couple of reopening of apps and see what happens here. At the same time there, that was the ZTE, and it's just taking its own sweet time there on the Huawei. Go back into YouTube here. Neither one of these phones are putting on a great show, to be honest with you. That was a ZTE. Don't know what the Huawei's doing there. Calculator. That was the ZTE, and it's like the it's like that the Huawei. If I said ZTE or Huawei or HTC or whatever by accident, I do apologize. Let's go in to Instagram. So that was the ZTE. Still waiting there. I'm not even going to do any more tests. Okay, it's getting on my nerves. It's really getting nerve-wracking. You know, I'm doing all I can to get this here to smooth out. But it's like it's just, you know, when it runs fine. But it's just a thing of getting it to work. I mean, you know, and the thing about it is both of these phones here are almost the same price. Okay, at Walmart, both of these here are straight talk phones, and the Huawei Sensa is $59 right now at Walmart.com. Just go on there and search for the Huawei Sensa. And this phone right here, the ZTE ZFive 2, is going for $50. So 60 and 50. And honestly, you know, I'm not sure what's going on with my Huawei Sensa right now, but it's acting very buggy, very laggy. Maybe because all the apps in the background, normal use, and just, you know, YouTube and Facebook and all that kind of stuff seems to work okay unless you really bog it down, and then it really shows, you know, that it's just can't handle a lot. So if this was helpful and informative in any way, I'll let y'all leave it in the comment section below what y'all think of these phones. If this was helpful and informative in any way, hit that like button. That would really be appreciated. Any questions or comments, leave it down below in the comment section. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing these comments, because who knows what it's going to be. But anyway, you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button and that bell for notifications when I go live and upload more videos and reviews and unboxings and all that cool stuff. So hit that subscribe button. That'd really be awesome. Y'all have a good one, and we'll see y'all in the next video.